Hello everyone, in this video we are going to make this easy transparent gradient effect in this enemy hair, which you can use in both Cyclist and EV. So the way I create it, basically by making a mask using Vertex color, then use that mask to create the alpha gradient effect in the shader nodes. Okay, before we continue, there is some settings you need to make sure. In the rendered viewport mode, make sure when your alpha value is 0, the mesh becomes fully transparent, and when the value is 1, it becomes fully opaque. If your default material settings is not working that way, you can follow my settings here. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go. First, select your target mesh, then change the viewport setting to solid and switch the mode to Vertex Paint. Now, we're ready to paint the mask. This is the Vertex color data, or basically like Vertex canvas. You can rename it anything you want, no big deal. Oh, and also, if the mesh already has a color attribute, you can see the indicator here. Just in case you don't see the drop down in the header, you can go to Mesh Properties, then open the color attribute section. Now, if we click on the mesh, we can paint it using the selected color. Currently is black color. You can see it at top left. But what we actually want is a gradient color. Unfortunately, in the current render version, there isn't a direct way to create a vertex color gradient. So instead, we can create the gradient using a vertex group in wake paint mode. Click this vertex group plus button to add a new vertex group. I leave the name as it is because we are going to remove it again later. Now, before we apply the wake paint, I want to hide every part of the mesh that I don't want to be affected by the wake painting. So, in edit mode, I'll simply select the parts I want to hide by box select or a B button, then Ctrl L for link select, then H to hide them. Now, after we are done hiding the vertices, we just need to select the area that will become the most transparent later. In my case, I want the edge of this hair to be transparent, then gradually become opaque toward the top. Then we go to the vertex group settings and make sure the wake value is set to 1 and then click assign. Now let's switch to the wake paint mode. You'll see the selected vertices from the vertex group displayed in red with a bit gradient facing toward blue. Now we just need to stretch that gradient. To stretch it or smooth it, go to the wake drop down in the header, then click smooth. After you clicked it, a smooth vertex wake panel will appear in the bottom left corner. Set the vector to 1, iterations to around 10, and expand or contract to around 0.15. And of course, the exact value is flexible. Adjust it until the gradient looks stretched enough to you. Once you're done, switch back to Vertex Paint mode and change the viewport to solid mode. Now we want to transfer the wake paint data into the color attributes. Make sure the correct color attribute and vertex group are selected, the one that you previously made. Then open the paint drop-down in the top left header and choose vertex color from wake. That's it. Now we can remove the vertex group for this process, but keep the color attributes. Okay, let's go to the setting tab. Right now, you should have the color attribute in the mesh properties. We can use this into color attribute node. Let's add that. Now just click this input field and choose your color attribute. If we plug the color attribute color output into the base color, we can see our vertex color mask. And if we plugged it into the alpha input, we can see that the edge or the white color is the opaque one. So we just need to invert it. We can just use ColorRamp. And then just flip the first and the second handle color. There you go. With that, we are done with the main function. Now, you can adjust whatever settings you'd like. If you want to adjust the gradient, you can just move the ColorRamp handles. If you want the transparency is not fully transparent, you can set the black color to not fully black. You can adjust the black value to not 0, for example 0.25. Alright, now I want to add some mixed float node. This is basically for turning on and off alpha gradient for animating. So yeah, this is completely optional. We just need to plug the ColorRamp output into the mixed float node slot B, then change the slot A value into 1. That's it. With that, now you can use this vector value as the alpha gradient control. Now I'll just frame this node just to keep them organized. Oh, one more thing, if your texture PNG has some transparency, you can just multiply the alpha output after the mix node. My texture doesn't have an alpha channel, so this won't actually affect the result, but I'll show you how to do it anyway. So you can use it when working with texture that do have transparency. Okay, that's it. The rest of the video is just quickly shows how it's baked and then show off the final result. So yeah, this effect is mainly depends on how you create the gradient and apply it to your mesh. So if this vertex color doesn't feel very effective for your particular case, there are two other approaches you can try. First is using a texture coordinate based gradient combined with a more advanced masking setup, and second is using an image texture directly as the alpha map. But for this method, your mesh need to be UV unwrapped first. Yep, that's it. Once again, hope you learned something new. Thanks for watching and cheers!